In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how the inverse functions f of x equal to the natural log of x and g of x equal e to the x interact, because we need to use these functions to do some proofs of derivatives that we're going to use. So I want to make sure that you guys understand how these two things work. Now, first of all, if these two functions are inverses, we know that inverses, f and g, are going to behave in this manner. F of g of x is going to equal x, and g of f of x is going to equal x as long as the two functions are inverses. So since they are inverses, what we know is that f of g of x is going to equal our function f, which is the natural log, and instead of x, we're going to put in g, which is e to the x, and we know this has to equal x. So in essence, these two functions are undoing each other. All right, the natural log and the e to the x are getting rid of each other. Also, if you think of it this way, natural log of e to the x, using the properties of logarithms, that exponent can come out in front, and we can rewrite this as x times the natural log of e, and we know that this equals 1, so this is x times 1, which is x. Okay, so we can verify that a few different ways. And then g of f of x is going to equal our function g, e, and instead of x, we're going to put in the natural log of x, and we know that that has to equal x. And if you look at this, these two things, they cancel each other out because they're inverse functions, and you're left with x. All right? Now this one's a little bit obscure, and you don't use this one a lot because oftentimes you will just rewrite things in exponential form, but this is the one we want to remember because we're going to use it in some proofs. And we're going to use it in the next proof probably that you're going to watch. We're going to rewrite a to the x as e to the natural log of a to the x. So if you look at what's going on here, these two things are going to cancel each other out, and you're going to be left with a to the x. So this is where this comes from, and I know a lot of you were asking me about it, but it's because those two functions, natural log of x and e to the x, are inverse. All right, I hope this helps, and if you're still having trouble with this, come in and see me.